For the last 2 days, 4 teams have clearly been ahead of the rest. For Kansas, the big man, Badinga, and that solid front court have carried them to the third-place game. Gillespie, what an absolute star. The hometown kid from Tennessee looking like the Volunteers could be a real threat in the SEC. For Gonzaga, most around the country have yet to see the powers of the WCC, but they came out, won by nearly 40. Graham, Ike, and the Zags look like a threat not just for this tournament, but for a Final Four run. And Michigan last night doing an absolute dominant performance, winning their first games by 70 points. A championship game tonight, a night we cannot wait in Las Vegas. High atop the beautiful city of Las Vegas, Nevada. The lights have yet to come on. The city is starting to wake up, and they're realizing that we have $2 million on the line this evening in high-functioning college basketball. Also, we are having the women's tournament getting going here as well. 3 of the top 4 teams in the country going head-to-head. The Players Era tournament continues to grow from last year to this year and beyond. Our first game today at the MGM Grand Arena, Syracuse Orange, who have exceeded expectations, and Iowa State, who very quietly has gone 2-0 with 2 decisive wins. Probably not too thrilled they're not in the championship game, but the resume they're putting together for March is looking beyond solid. This is the Players Era Tournament live on TNT. We are up in the rafters as Syracuse gets ready to take on the Cyclones. Jalen Rose, C. Webb. I got Coach Bruce Pearl, Adam Lefkoe here as we get ready for a phenomenal day. Coach, we're all worried about you. Last night was a lot. You're sitting there courtside for Auburn, Michigan. I want to know, though, seeing Michigan up close, knowing what we have in Gonzaga, overall, the talent that we've had in this tournament, I know you've been impressed.
I think the Players Era folks are thrilled. They were hoping to build a Final Four, a March Madness in November, and that's exactly what they've done. The games have delivered, the players have delivered. Michigan, you guys were right. Bigger and better than I could have imagined. I mean, they were massively larger than Auburn. They're extremely well coached. They're bought in defensively. They took Auburn out of everything they wanted to do, and that's what they're going to try to do against Gonzaga. And they're shooting the ball better. So right now, Michigan, Motor City, firing on all cylinders.
But Kansas, Tennessee, Gonzaga, and Michigan, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better Final Four.
No question about it, and I'm going to mention this multiple times today because they don't play into the evening. I just can't wait to see the front court matchup.
Oh, man. I mean, that's music Gonzaga. To C-Webb's ears over
He's
here.
just smiling like a kid in the candy store watching EK shoot threes and do reverse dunks. Landon Board came up here. He gave us not only a terrific interview, but a terrific performance out on the floor. 2 great coaches on the sideline. It's going to be great theater.
This is your first time being part of the tournament. What do you think?
Oh, I love it. You know, last week, Coach Rick Pitino had a quote, and it kind of threw me off. He said, this is some of the best college basketball he's ever been around. And for him to say that and for you to agree and shake your head means a lot with the history they have. And I'm impressed. My first time here with the talent of each team, the demeanor of each coach, and the interviews we've had with these kids after, this has been special.
They are wise beyond their years. We're getting ready for the money games, the $2 million that will be allocated to the top 4 teams. Obviously, the most will go to the winner of Michigan, Gonzaga. You see the numbers up there. And again, this is a Kansas team that is doing it without Darren Peterson, who some say may be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. Wow. So Kansas, Tennessee, that's going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern, and then Michigan, Gonzaga at 9:30 Eastern. The consolation games that these are on TNT. We start off today with Syracuse and Iowa State. Syracuse, 2 strong performances. Iowa State and Otzelberger has been performing at a very high level. Houston and Notre Dame, phenomenal. And then Alabama, Maryland will be great as well. And then here are the standings. This is why if you're Iowa State, you missed it by just 2 points.
Oh,
wow. The big difference is the margin of victory. And if you watch the end of Iowa State, who did they take on yesterday? Baylor? No.
Creighton.
Thank you.
That
Creighton.
dunk,
They
yeah.
were trying to
Yes.
score at the end of the game. And the thing is, that game happened before the other one. So they didn't know the number they were shooting for. Iowa State knocked off St. John's in that first game. They only won by 1. Hey, you beat St. John's by any amount. It's a great number, but just not enough to make it to the Final Four.
You know, there's a lot of cash involved today, but not enough cash to make a difference. Iowa State came here to win 3 games. Whether it's 3 games and a championship, they came here to build a resume. And so they got an opportunity to go 3-0. That's really good. I give Syracuse a chance in this one because of depth. One of the things that we as coaches look for in 3 games, in 3 days, okay, what's that going to be like here early here out in Las Vegas? Does Iowa State have to have enough? Without Lipsy, 7 guys played last night. 5 guys played 35 plus. So does Iowa State have the legs? If I'm Syracuse, I'm running. I'm pressing. I'm making them work really hard for every catch just to see if late in the half and late in the game we could make some noise.
Let's start talking about those money games. We're going to start off with the 3rd place game. It is Kansas. It is Tennessee. We had Bill Self on the desk. The day before, we had Gillespie and Amen on the desk. Here is the matchup between Coach. Let me get the scouting report.
Well, I mean, for this one here, I mean, both teams are really, really good. Tennessee picked in the top 3 of the SEC. Kansas shockingly picked 6th in the Big 12, but we've all seen how strong the Big 12 is. Does Kansas have enough depth on the front line to be able to play against all that depth that Tennessee has? Badunga and Tiller have been terrific for Kansas, but you get past those 2 guys and where they go. Tennessee's size, I think, is an advantage in that one.
Amen had such a stellar first game, very quiet in the second game. Gillespie has been the through line for Tennessee in both games. What do we think about this matchup? What sticks out to you?
I love Gillespie's guard play. I love his toughness. I love his moxie, knocking down open shots, and he's their big shot player. Amen hasn't played like the fabulous freshman in both games. He played really well in the first game, but he kind of struggled in the second game offensively in particular. But Gillespie's been the engine. I'm going to be curious to see how Amen responds today. He and Chris Sanak of Houston, neither one of those freshmen really were dominant offensively for their teams, but for Tennessee, they still was able to pull out the victory. So I want to see if he comes out aggressive and try to have a big game
Whether it's
offensively.
Tennessee or Kansas, where do you want to focus on?
I want to focus on Amen. I really like what you said, Jalen. The unique thing about playing 3 games in a row, usually if you lose in a tournament, you're out. But you have 3 great games, and so you can have a bad game in the middle and seeing how you respond. And I think this is a time for coaches, fans to be able to judge their team and see their resilience. I want to see the resilience of Houston. I want to see the resilience of Amen. I want to see the resilience of all of these 5-star recruits that we thought were going to play well, that maybe haven't, and maybe they understand now, oh, this is what I need to do to succeed on this level. So looking forward to seeing the comeback game.
I thought it was very interesting when we had Lendeborg on the set and we said, Gonzaga or Tennessee, who do you want to face? And the first name he said was Ament. Because I think all these guys know, sure, we're thinking about Final Four, but in terms of the NBA draft, I'm going to be up against him at that position. And he wanted that challenge, which says a lot about Ament as well in terms of what he's shown.
Yeah, and if I could just give the people a view from the player's perspective, you want your team to win. So if Jalen and I are playing against each other and we have a wash of numbers, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's a personal battle. And I want the guy with the name on the back of his jersey means more than the name on the front, because every day that means you bring that character to work. And so when he said that, I really like that because, hey, he gives them bulletin board material. And he's going to have to take on that challenge. But as a player, you want to play against the best, and I love seeing that heart.
Coach, let's now focus on the championship matchup. Michigan-Gonzaga, size versus size. Both in this tournament have gone zone for a little bit, and it looked suffocating. You look at the points these scored, both over 50%, both dominant on the boards. What a matchup we have in the championship.
You know, the only difference here going into this game is Gonzaga's been challenged a little bit more than Michigan has. You know, Auburn didn't put up much of a fight yesterday, okay? They blow out the first game against San Diego State. Gonzaga had to get through Alabama in order to get this championship game. I think
That was high-level basketball, too.
Oh, it was amazing basketball. Look, these teams are both scoring in the high 90s, and yet it's going to be the team that can defend physically without fouling. That's going to be a really key. Mara, his ability to contest at the rim, Johnson, Lendenberg. You guys talk to me about their size and length, but sometimes it wasn't until I got down on the floor and went, wow. I couldn't believe it. And so I give Michigan the advantage here. I mean, I've seen them both up close and personal now, and I know you guys love Gonzaga. Mash talked about Gonzaga being a Final Four team and winning a national championship. Michigan shoots it like they shoot it last night with all that side length and depth. I like Michigan in this one.
You know, I really feel last night Auburn missed an opportunity. Michigan is big, but they didn't stick with their tenets.
No.
You know, you get frustrated. Like, what happens when you take 5 great shots and you miss it because it's great defense? That's when you have to come with the next play and keep the same determination, and I think they got away from that.
Facts.
I do not think Zags will get away from that with their coach. I think he's going to stay on them, and they're going to stay consistent. And I like that for the young Michigan team. How do you respond to a team that says we're going to keep coming inside? And Michigan has to make threes to make sure that you make them pay on the other end.
Cadeau McKinney has to make shots. Burnett as well. The one thing I also like about Michigan, and especially in a tournament like this, in conference play and in the NCAA tournament, you have to be able to play multiple styles. And Coach brought up Mara. Mara had one of those games like EK had, where he had multiple blocks, multiple assists, and he was dominant. We saw Lindenborg yesterday. And so for me, that's what gives Michigan the advantage, because they're going to be able to give you the post-up offense, but they're also going to be able to give you the pick and roll, the dribble handoff, get downhill type offense as well.
You know what we're going to see? We've been talking about the freshmen all November, and it's an unbelievable class. Maybe 8 out of the top kids taken in the NBA draft. That's what got Ziax all upset. Yeah. He looks at some of those guys on the board and go, wait a second, what about me?
Yes.
And some of our old fellas. Yes. We're having grown men out in a championship game. We got grown men in these finals. This isn't about freshmen right now. It's about old dudes that have been paid their dues on a big stage.
Yes. I've called a lot of March Madnesses, and I've done a lot of studio work, and I always hear about sight lines in arenas. I'm just curious if this could have an impact. Gonzaga has played on this court 2 games. Michigan's been at a different arena for 2 games. Is there any thought that this will be their first game here? I know, listen, it's Michigan, but could it have any impact being in a new arena?
I'm going to ask the players.
I love shooting at the same rims. You know, now don't get me wrong, we can go to any arena, game travels, but however, if I played 2 games here, missed the free throw here, I know this rim is a little bit lower, this one's crooked, the lighting, so I do think it will have some impact,
It's a small level of comfort for me. It's not like playing in a dome. See, I hate playing in the dome.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Playing in an NFL stadium.
Absolutely.
It's like outside.
Exactly. So for me, it won't be much of an advantage.
Either way, it's good practice for March. Having to change scenery, take on a new team, and we are getting March-level quality basketball here in Las Vegas. The Players Era Tournament, we are on day number 3. We are going to take you all the way up to Championship Eve. We start off with a battle in the ACC and Big 12, overlooking the desert, constantly building, just like the Players Era Tournament.